when it gets really smoky. You can feel it in the air.
Tracking Toronto's air quality, ranked among the worst in the world.
Tonight, monitoring the health impact of wildfire smoke. Good evening. We begin with Toronto's iconic skyline, nearly unrecognizable today.
Haze hanging over our city, prompting poor visibility and public health alerts. CTV's John Musselman joins us live with the latest. John.
Well, Nathan, residents are certainly noticing it here. We're at Riverdale Park. I've noticed a lot of people taking pictures as they look at this smoky skyline behind me.
The wildfires may be thousands of miles away, but we are feeling the effects here in the GTA. Our city's air quality ranked among the worst in the world today as the smoke drifts across our region. This was the skyline view today from Riverdale Park.
It's hard to believe it's coming that far, but yeah, it doesn't make you want to walk around too much outside.
It's very sad, but at the same time, 2 years ago, we were going through the same thing with the wildfires. My concern is that after all this time, it takes those trees like 25, 50 years, and we've got thousands of acres of them burning away.
The wildfire smoke prompted Environment Canada to issue a special air quality statement for the GTA and much of southern Ontario.
No amount of smoke is good for you. I mean, it is absolutely, everybody feels it. I mean, only a few see the flames, but millions smell the smoke.
The air quality index hit a maximum 7 out of 10, which is classified as high risk. According to Swiss air quality tracker IQ Air, Toronto's air quality ranked 4th worst in the world. Only Montreal was worse, ranking 3rd. People are being urged to limit their time spent outdoors and reduce high activity sports.
For us, this smoke we're seeing now seems like the models are saying it's going to be lingering over southern Ontario through the weekend. And, you know, sometimes maybe it's more above the ground than at the ground. But yeah, I think we're going to be seeing hazy skies at least through the weekend.
I don't feel a difference smell-wise yet, but you can see it in the sun. It's not shining as usual, and it's very hazy and foggy and odd.
And I noticed that there's a shift in the air quality, and it's really bad for today.
And officials at the Toronto Humane Society recommend pet owners take precautions to protect their pets during this bad air. Limit their time outdoors and try to schedule walks in the morning or in the evening when the air quality is a bit better.
And that website also registered at 4:15 this afternoon as Toronto having the worst air quality in the world. But we've noticed here it is getting a little bit better at the skyline behind us. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. Natalie, back to you.
Okay, thank you, John. And keeping our eyes on those hazy skies, here's a live look at the city right now. A special air quality statement still in effect this hour, but the winds might shift in our favor this evening. Jessica Smith is here with a look at the current conditions. Jess.
And as John mentioned, it's getting a little bit better. We're seeing a more northerly wind, so we're not going to see the smoke go entirely. But as the expert mentioned in that last story, it will get a little higher up in the atmosphere, so we don't see it so much on the ground as we head through the rest of the evening and into the day tomorrow, but it's not leaving us anytime soon. So blanketing a good portion of Ontario and really almost the entire country with alerts or warnings in place. So we'll keep that in mind. If you do have breathing challenges, limit your time outdoors if possible. And this is going to stick with us over the next couple of days. So this is a thing we're going to have to contend with. Heavier smoke again through northern portions of the prairies, northern Ontario. It dips down towards us throughout the weekend. Again, it depends on the level of the atmosphere it's at, whether it's ground level or a little higher. But regardless, it's not going anywhere as we head in towards the weekend or through to almost the end of next week. Not much in the way of active weather, but that's a good thing. More easterly wind right now as we head through the overnight and into the day tomorrow. It becomes northerly. That will work in our favor to an extent. But again, we're not done with the smoke really and truly for the next couple of days. So just take care if you do have outdoor plans. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including the chance of some active weather to end the weekend. But right now, it's back to Natalie.
All right. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
Homicide investigators have identified the man killed in this week's mass shooting in Lawrence Heights. Police say a group of armed suspects walked up to another group of people near Renee Avenue and Varna Drive on Tuesday night around 8:30 and opened fire. 31-year-old Yahya Ahmed Mahamoud was shot and later died in hospital. 5 other victims, ages 17 to 30, suffered non-life-threatening injuries. So far, no arrests have been made.
The Lawrence Heights shooting and the mass shooting in a Scarborough pub in March were top of mind as a ceremony was held at City Hall marking National Day Against Gun Violence.
Joshua, I honor you, my son. They have thought when they took you that they were going to erase your legacy and your name. But I am here to rewrite your story with ink that will never be erased. And to every soul that have been lost to gun violence, I want to say, I feel you, I hear you, I carry you, and I am here to honor you.
Shondell Reese is the mother of 21-year-old Joshua Bernard Reese, who was killed in a 2023 shooting near Morningside in Danzig. 4 suspects face charges. Mayor Olivia Chow says it's vital to maintain efforts to steer youth away from gun violence.
We are recommitting ourselves to work for peace, to say that gun violence, especially for a young person that are 13, 14, 15, picking up a gun is not normal. Shooting people they don't know is not normal. We cannot tolerate it. We must do everything we can to change it.
A total of 7 people have been fatally shot in Toronto so far in 2025, with another 47 injured. Police say they've responded to 106 shootings and gun discharges, a 44% decrease from this time last year.
Investigators remain at the scene of a Scarborough house fire where one person was found dead this morning. Emergency crews were called to the home on Brimley Road near St. Clair Avenue East around 7:30 a.m. Toronto Fire says they arrived to find a small fire that they quickly extinguished. They say they also found a man inside who was soon declared dead. There has been no word on the cause of death, but police say it does not appear to be suspicious.
A public safety alert remains in effect in the Hyde Park area after a woman was sexually assaulted Wednesday night. The victim in her 60s suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was able to get help from a passerby. Several officers were at the scene today as investigators searched for a male suspect believed to be 30 to 40 years old, 5'10", with a slim build.
And York Regional Police are investigating after shots were fired at a home in Markham early this morning. Officers were called to the residence near 16th Avenue and Kennedy Road around 4 a.m. and found multiple shell casings and visible damage. 5 people were inside at the time of the shooting, but no one was hurt. This follows a shooting at a neighboring home last Saturday. Police are treating the incidents as linked and targeted. They are looking for a black SUV and are hoping to speak with anyone who has footage or information.
We turn to efforts to deal with the housing crisis in Toronto.
Today, the province and the city celebrated the latest investment to get homes built. But how far will it go to address the problem? CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris reports.
The Premier delivered a big novelty check to Toronto City Hall, more than $67 million from the province's Building Faster Fund, cash to build sewers, roads and sidewalks to support new homes.
That's the most expensive hug I've ever gotten in my life.
Only cities that get at least 80% of the way to their annual building targets get this funding. The minister in charge admits this sort of ceremony will be rarer in 2025.
Housing starts are down. We know that. There's a crisis, a major crisis in this country. We're going to hand out some nice Building Faster Fund checks, not as many and not for as much.
Toronto built 21,000 units last year, roughly 10,000 fewer than the year before.
More than 300,000 units have been approved. They're just sitting there in the pipeline. But with interest rate high, inflation, home builders can't afford to build.
It's why the Premier's leaning on the Bank of Canada to shave a full point off its benchmark rate.
I'm going to be on the governor like 800-pound gorilla now because he's affecting the housing market. And honestly, Donald Trump's affecting the housing market. So let's try to get a deal as quickly as possible.
Until interest rates come down and a trade deal is signed, the province is trying to spur things along.
We've deferred DCs until occupancy, which is going to create cash flow opportunities for home builders to build homes.
To make homes more affordable, Doug Ford is open to eliminating the provincial part of the HST on all home purchases, not just first-timers.
I think it would really help out. That's a big chunk of change.
But Ontario won't go there without a matching commitment from the Prime Minister.
We have to make sure he's in as well as we're in.
The government insists it hasn't backed away from its pledge of building 1.5 million new homes by 2031. But last month's budget projects an 18% drop-off in housing starts over the next 3 years. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Also tonight, riding into summer on brand new wheels. Deserving kids get a lesson in cycling safety and take home the bikes that will make it all possible. That's coming up.
But first, tonight marks 4 years since 4 members of the Afzal family were killed in a hate-motivated attack in London.
Members of the Muslim community are organizing a vigil in the victims' memories as the man convicted in the incident launches an appeal. CTV's Rita Ishmael has the details.
Fences are up around the former PV Mart parking lot, southeast of Hyde Park Road and South Carriage Road, for a memorial that will honor the Afzal family. Across the street is where 15-year-old Yumna, her parents Madia and Salman, and her grandmother Talat Afzal were killed in a hate-motivated terrorist attack. A 9-year-old boy who was seriously injured was the sole survivor on June 6, 2021.
We're going to be able to get together in our community and really take an opportunity to just remember our Lennon family, and also something that aligns with the fact that today is also Eid, and it's a holy day as well.
The event is being organized by the Youth Coalition Combating Islamophobia in an effort to ensure no other families are destroyed as a result of racism.
Hate feeds on quiet assent, and when we don't do anything and we don't take action, we stay silent, we become complicit.
Mayor Josh Morgan says the city continues to honor their memory and commit action against Islamophobia.
We have an action plan to combat Islamophobia specifically, and we're executing that action plan over a series of years. We've done a fair number of actions associated with it, but it is ongoing work.
Despite the progress that has been made, Haria says more needs to be done.
There's people who continue to experience microaggressions, who continue to experience harassment, who continue to experience Islamophobia, and in order to ensure that we're getting to a point where that's something that we no longer have to live through, it's important that we remember June 6th and what happened to our Lennon family.
Nathaniel Veltman, the man found guilty of 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder for hitting the family with his truck, is now appealing his conviction. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
We saw earlier in the newscast the impact of the western wildfires here in Toronto. In the prairies, efforts continue to battle those blazes, and today there was an update from one of the provinces heavily affected by the fires.
Up to 50 tankers are in the air as we speak. We have in the neighborhood of 1,000 highly qualified provincial firemen, as well as many municipal fire departments, hundreds of contractors out there building fire guards around communities for where this fire is encroaching.
Wildfires have forced up to 15,000 residents out of the area in recent days. There are 24 active blazes in the province. Many of them are human-caused, either intentionally or unintentionally. 2 people have been charged with setting wildfires, one related to a blaze around La Ronge, where 7,000 people were forced to flee. In Manitoba, there are 27 blazes, and about a third of them are out of control. More than 18,000 people have been forced from their homes in that province.
The federal Liberals tabled new legislation they say will reduce interprovincial trade barriers and accelerate approval of major projects.
The bill spans less than 20 pages, but it is meant to help unlock up to $200 billion in the Canadian economy. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
A bill that meets this hinge moment.
New legislation tabled today proposes to make it easier for businesses to sell their products across the country by recognizing provincial standards such as energy efficiency for washing machines or organic certifications on foods as equivalent to the federal requirement.
We are aligning federal rules and regulations with those from the provinces and territories, helping to create one market, not 13.
The bill also seeks to improve labor mobility by recognizing provincial certifications. So if a worker is licensed in one part of the country, that license would be recognized federally.
And the Building Canada Act.
The legislation also aims to shave years off the approval process for new major projects. The Prime Minister is proposing to allow Cabinet to decide whether a proposal is in the national interest. Among the factors to be considered are whether it strengthens Canada, provides economic benefits, is likely to succeed, advances Indigenous interests, and contributes to clean growth and climate goals.
For too long, when federal agencies have examined a new project, their immediate question has been why. With this bill, we will instead ask ourselves how.
This move builds on work premiers are doing to bring down provincial trade barriers, with Mark Carney working towards a Canada Day deadline. But today, officials couldn't say how many projects could be unlocked by these changes, prompting criticism.
It's a small step, but it is breadcrumbs when we needed a bold move.
The pressure is now on to try and pass this legislation before the House of Commons breaks for the summer 2 weeks from now. Though today, the Prime Minister said if Parliament needs to sit longer to get it done, it should. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The federal industry minister was in Hamilton visiting Dofasco at a time of great anxiety for Canada's steel and aluminum workers. There is much uncertainty after U.S. tariffs were doubled to 50% this week.
We need to build these big infrastructure projects, such as big power lines, such as, indeed, pipelines, such as all the green transition and the energy that is necessary. And what will happen? Well, ultimately, it will lead to jobs here at home. And that is why we need to make sure that we invest in this new approach.
Melanie Joly says the government will bring in strong countermeasures and will not tolerate dumping of steel in Canada. She also insists companies will be protected from unfair trade practices. But there have been no details about what the Liberals may do, despite calls for urgent action. The Prime Minister has said some time is needed to look at various scenarios. In Washington, a senior White House trade official defended the doubling of the duties.
You may think 50% tariffs is high, but the problem we've been facing is that we have so much overcapacity of steel in the world because of China. China is by far the most massive steel producer. What China has been doing is dumping that steel in the market, and they do it directly, but they also do it through what's called transshipping. And if you know this term, it's basically when China uses other countries to ship and avoid tariffs and things like that into this country.
Stakeholders in Canada are warning U.S. duties could have catastrophic consequences. Many want expanded tariffs for steel and aluminum to repel foreign products flooding the domestic market.
Canada Post and the union representing 55,000 of its workers have returned to the bargaining table. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says negotiations resumed yesterday, and the two sides are working with a federal mediator on terms of binding arbitration. If the dispute gets to that point, the union formally requested arbitration in May. On Wednesday, Jobs Minister Hajj called for talks to continue. Canada Post has asked her to order workers to vote on its most recent offer.
Muslim pilgrims in Saudi Arabia began one of the last rites of the Hajj today. More than 1.6 million people carried out a symbolic stoning of the devil. They threw small pebbles at 3 stone structures. The Hajj is the 5th pillar of Islam and is mandatory once in a lifetime for every able-bodied Muslim who can afford it. The pilgrimage is the most significant manifestation of Islamic faith and unity and is considered one of the largest mass gatherings in the world.
The Eid al-Adha holiday has begun. It coincides with the final rites of the Hajj and is observed worldwide by Muslims. Known as the Feast of Sacrifice, it is a joyous occasion for which food is a hallmark. The major holiday is also marked by prayer. It begins on the 10th day of the Islamic lunar month and lasts for a couple of days. Back here at home, is there anything better than that feeling of freedom while riding your very first bike?
Today, Toronto Police offered up that special moment for dozens of local kids and sharing an important safety message as well. CTV's Beth McDonnell has the story.
It's pink. It's one of my favorite bikes.
It's a new set of wheels just a few weeks before summer.
It means everything to me.
10-year-old Tavion Miller is one of 60 kids riding away with a bike from Esther Shiner Stadium in North York, thanks to a partnership between Toronto Police, charity New Kindness, and safety specialists Taysel Limited. How are you feeling on the new bike?
I'm feeling really, really great. This day made my day. It feels really cool because a bike is expensive and it's just a really good gift.
Fitted with a helmet, light, bell, and lock, the kids made their way to different stops on the track for safety exercises and lessons.
Riding around the cones is easy, and it's kind of hard to brake. A stands for air, B stands for, brakes, and C stands
for chain.
And why is the ABC important?
Because if you don't know that, you might end up getting hurt.
Neighborhood officers from around the city selected the deserving kids. After the giveaway, they helped some learn to ride, others expand their skill set.
Can we show me the arm signal for stop?
And shared rules and safety tips with everyone to navigate the road. Kids up to 14 can ride on the sidewalk.
Press the button. What does that do?
Wait.
Pedestrian lights were also brought in to reinforce how to cross an intersection.
Safety is always a great thing. Working with our youth is always a wonderful thing. The Toronto Police Service is dedicated, working always with our community partnerships, not just with youth, but with everybody, but specifically, youths are the way we're going. We want to resonate with our youths because they grow to be the adults.
And while speed is often top of mind,
You go there faster and more fun, and it just feels better. Like you can go to the park or to school. When I'm going pretty fast, I race my friends, and sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. But that's okay.
these 60 kids have the right equipment and education to enjoy the ride. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Coming up on CTV News, the stakes are high in price. The beef with the rising cost of red meat and what it means for your barbecue bill. That's just ahead.
I'm Mike Walker on Dundas Street West, where crowds are now gathering for the 12th annual Do Westfest. Coming up, what you can expect at this year's street festival.
And not a terrible night to be outside, at least temperature-wise. It's quite mild out there. We're sitting at 22 here in the city. It feels like 25. Everybody, for the most part, in southern Ontario at or just below the seasonal mark, but we have the Humidex bringing us back up to where we should be. A fairly light wind becoming northerly overnight and into the day tomorrow will help to kind of lighten the sky a little, but we're still dealing with that wildfire smoke. Into the day tomorrow, the UV index still on the high side, so sun protection, hydration are key. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast as we step into the weekend, and stay with us. We have another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
The cost of certain groceries could change what you're cooking on the grill this summer.
Beef was once a barbecue staple, but soaring prices are turning it into a luxury meat. CTV's Tyler Fleming has more.
Sheila Soprovich just finished her grocery shop, but where's the beef?
There's no beef. No beef.
She says it costs too much.
I only buy on sale, and steak is almost never.
Since January, strip loin steak is up more than 30%, in some cases pushing past $55 per kilo.
Ground beef, if I can get it on a good price. And I'm old enough to remember when you could get it for $1.99 a pound.
Today, it's more than $10 a pound. Some reasons: shrinking Canadian beef herds as more producers quit, higher transportation costs, and rising inflation.
We eat more eggs, more fish, chicken.
The extent of increases are quite surprising. It's way more than we were expecting, beyond what I think is reasonably acceptable.
Experts note 2 private companies supply 85% of Canada's beef, and while grocers' margins have stayed steady, supplier profits remain unclear.
It's time for the Canadian Competition Bureau to do its job and look into this matter, because so there are some irregularities when it comes to beef prices.
We do avoid the big packers the best we can. We go from farmer to table in fewer steps.
Pete and Gus meat market owner Case DeCarlo says their top quality grass-fed Canadian cuts, like T-bones, often beat big store prices.
These here, I know, I've checked very recently, and we're about 10% or so under.
And the family-run shop wants to do its part to have the summer sizzle on the grill and not the wallet.
For us, it means that, we will cut into some of our margins to make sure that beef is still readily accessible to the people.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Well, let's talk about the forecast. I mean, I do like the warm weather, but when you can see the haze, that's a concern.
Yeah,
right?
You want the sizzle on the barbecue,
Yeah.
not the smoke that's in the air right now.
It's a lot. I mean, you think about it, we had such a dreary forecast to end the month of May, and we've had this transition take place over the past couple of days where we got the heat, but in place of the sunshine, we have the smoke out there. So it's something that we're going to have to deal with over the next couple of days. As we head in towards the rest of your weekend, we will see the smoke get a little higher in the atmosphere, but it doesn't really go away truly until we get through things. But again, if you're spending time outside yourself, your pets, you just got to limit your time outdoors, no matter what kind of pet you have. Now, the good news is, as we make our way in towards the rest of the weekend, we do see a little bit of sunshine out there, which will be beautiful. But as we head in towards Sunday, the chance of a few showers is going to linger. As Nathan mentioned, though, we're holding on at a very, very seasonal point. So the good news, at least you can get out and enjoy some of the warmth that we've been missing for quite some time. Over the next couple of hours, we're going to keep an eye on the winds. They will change direction. A more northerly flow to the wind is going to kind of help a little bit. So for people heading out to do Westfest this weekend, or maybe you're going to, I know there's a grilled cheese festival in the West End somewhere. If you like grilled cheese, shout out to everyone who likes grilled cheese. You have options. But if you're spending time outside, it is going to be a bit of a challenge, especially if you have COPD, asthma, or any of those breathing challenges. But as we head in towards the next couple of days, if you do want to get outside, at least the northerly wind flow is going to help shift things just a little. We'll take a look at our kind of wider map to show you some of the watches and warnings that we do have in place in a moment. And it'll kind of show you how wide this situation is when it comes to the wildfires. We're looking at air quality warnings and statements really almost from coast to coast to coast. So as you spend time outside over the next few days, keep that in mind. This is really quite a dire situation depending on where you are in the prairies. So our thoughts are with everybody who are contending with the fires. As we make our way in towards the end of our weekend, again, we get a bit of a shift in wind direction that will help us just a little bit. But as we step in towards next week, we will see the winds change direction again. And we get another kind of burst of some smoke into the air. So nothing's really going to change. As we head in towards, again, the rest of our day today, if you do want to spend some time outside, like this gentleman earlier, our friend Pauline Chan caught this video. He was out for a ride with his pair. This is Rick and his bird Winston. Listen, you want to take your pet outside for a walk no matter what kind of pet you have? Go for it, but just limit your time outdoors if possible. But you know what? I don't think Winston was minding all too much. And to be fair, if I was out and I was going for a walk and I saw Winston, it would make my day a little better, regardless of what the conditions are outside. Taking a look at our temperature map and what we have going on, it's still relatively seasonal. We're at 22. It feels like 25. Anywhere kind of north of Sault Ste. Marie, though they're a little cooler. They're experiencing some cooler air that will eventually kind of make its way towards us, but we just dip a degree or two shy of seasonal. Into this evening, sitting at 16, so we're not far off from where we should be, and that really doesn't change into the day tomorrow. Again, that north wind helping a little bit. Still the haze in the higher levels of the atmosphere, but overall sitting at 25 comfortably. Not much in the way of active weather. Again, we're still contending with those air quality statements. They are not going anywhere. As we head through the rest of the night, we'll see how it shifts throughout the weekend. Heavier smoke again through the northern portions of the prairies, northern Ontario, and we just get varying degrees of it here in southern Ontario. It's a little higher up in the atmosphere tomorrow, so although not a brilliantly blue sky, we'll have that bit of a haze out there. At least ground level, it's a little easier to make your way through the day. Not much in the way of any active weather. High pressure will move in, and we'll actually see some of that sunshine as we head into the day tomorrow, as that kind of haze lifts just a little bit. But through the rest of our evening, it is a little cloudy out there, but overall comfortable. So again, if you're heading out to any of the street festivals this evening, not too bad. Beautiful Saturday ahead of us. So if you want to get out, get active, again, limit your time outdoors if you have breathing challenges, but the heavier smoke likely to lift just a little bit thanks to the wind direction. Into your Sunday, some cloud cover makes its way in. We're watching a system right now kind of sitting just south of us. We'll see if it creeps up throughout the afternoon and evening, but the chance is going to linger. Temperature-wise, again, comfortable for your Saturday. Sun protection is key, a high UV index. Some late-day showers potentially on Sunday, lingering into Monday, but overall, we are at or just above seasonal, and it's really a beautiful forecast. We'll see how it goes with all the air quality statements and the wildfire smoke, but overall, at least to be outside the temperature, not the worst. Nathan, I'll send things back to you.
Thank you, Jess. Well, summer's just around the corner, and that means street festival season has arrived in Toronto.
And a big event is taking over a busy West End street. CTV's Mike Walker is on Dundas, where Do Westfest is just getting underway. Mike.
Well, Natalie and Nathan, the patios are getting the final preps. The grills are fired up, and as you can see, the crowds are now flocking down to Dundas Street West for Due West, which is really one of the biggest street festivals in the city, kicking off the start of the summer season and really celebrating the diversity of the neighborhood here. Now, this is the 12th year for Due West Fest, which spans 16 blocks across Dundas Street, including the Little Portugal neighborhood. About 400 businesses and vendors are participating this year, and you will find everything from street food to art and vintage clothing, plus 3 stages featuring local and international artists. Of course, this is a huge event for the local businesses here. Organizers say last year's festival had an economic impact of nearly $82 million, and they are anticipating a record-setting 1 million people to attend this year's festival. Here's more from the lead producer of Due West and one vendor who has been a part of the festival since its inception.
The thing that really makes Due West Fest different from any other street festival in Toronto is it is produced and curated by the community for the community. You really get the feeling of the local businesses who call Dundas home 365 days a year.
It really helps my business, not just with great sales, but really getting to know the community and spreading the word about my brand.
Now, if you do plan on attending, keep in mind there are some significant road closures. Dundas Street West is closed between Ossington and Lansdowne, and Due West Fest runs until 6 p.m. Sunday. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker.
Also on the schedule this weekend, the annual Ride to Conquer Cancer takes place in the West End tomorrow. More than 3,500 cyclists are set to participate, raising money for the Princess Margaret Cancer Center. Road closures will be in place in the West Mall and Queensway area. You can find full details and a listing of other weekend events at citynewstoronto.ca.
And if you're planning to take the subway tomorrow or Sunday, there is a partial closure to keep in mind on Line 2. Trains won't be running between Woodbine and Broadview stations to accommodate track work. Shuttle buses will run instead, and all affected stations other than Chester will be open to customers to buy fares and connect to surface routes. Regular subway service resumes Monday morning.
And speaking of transit, today marks a milestone anniversary for the Up Express. The train first welcomed customers on June 6, 2015, offering direct 25-minute rides between Union Station and Pearson Airport. The project was also North America's first dedicated air rail link. Metrolink says Up Express has serviced more than 26 million passengers since launching, cutting down on car trips and transforming how people connect to the travel hub.
Still to come on CTV News, improving access to immunotherapy, the Health Canada approval that could change the treatment plan for some cancer patients. Immunotherapy used to fight several types of cancer has just been approved by Health Canada in a new form.
And as our health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, it promised to make treatments faster and more convenient for patients.
For years, Donna Barton had asked various doctors about a spot on her heel.
Sent me to a dermatologist. He said, yeah, I think it's a plantar's wart.
But in 2017, it was finally diagnosed as melanoma, and it had spread to her lymph nodes. She had surgery and eventually found good results with nivolumab or Opdivo, a form of immunotherapy.
The cancer cells have developed this defense mechanism, these kind of shields in a way, that prevents our immune cells or white blood cells from attacking them and then getting rid of them. What these types of medication do is that they block that main shield.
Dr. Sebastian Hutt says nivolumab is used in several types of solid tumor cancers, including melanoma, non-small cell lung cancer, and esophageal cancer. It's currently given in a 30-minute long infusion, but Donna says her trip into Toronto for infusions used to take several hours.
And a lot of waiting around at the hospital because the staff has a lot of patients that they're dealing with.
Donna's fortunate because about a year ago she was able to arrange for her infusions to be given at a local Oakville clinic.
But now a new form of nivolumab, an injection given into the abdomen, promises to reduce that process to just 5 minutes.
So you're able to treat more people in one day, and you're also potentially able to give it in places that you would not classically be receiving treatment. Eventually we may be able to give it at home.
Kathy Bernard, herself a skin cancer survivor, says the financial burden of traveling for infusions is also challenging, especially for rural patients.
We really advocate for equal, timely, appropriate access for patients with melanoma and other skin cancers across the country.
The Save Your Skin Foundation helps patients with financial support and spreads skin safety awareness, especially with growing cases of melanoma in young people. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Unconfirmed reports in the UK say David Beckham will be knighted next week. A knighthood would make the former England soccer captain Sir David and his wife Lady Beckham. The BBC says the ambassador for the UN Children's Fund will receive recognition for both his soccer career and his contributions to UK society.
Pop star Sabrina Carpenter is out with a new song and music video. The song is called Man-Child. The lyrics and video outline some of Carpenter's frustrations with the opposite sex as she goes through a series of strange encounters in the desert. The Grammy winner says the track represents the, quote, very confusing and fun young adult years of life. Fans speculate Man-Child could be the first single from a new album, but the singer hasn't confirmed that.
Can't breathe for air, can't breathe, trying to remember.
Oh, and Toronto's own The Weeknd dropped a new music video today as well. It's for the song Baptized in Fear from his latest album, Hurry Up Tomorrow. The video takes inspiration from the religious-tinged lyrics of the track. The video comes as The Weeknd kicks off his North American tour in New Jersey tonight.
Tom Cruise has racked up several Hollywood honors and achievements over the years, and now he can add a Guinness World Record holder to the list. Cruise has been recognized for having the most burning parachute jumps under his belt, a total of 16. The actor set the record while filming a stunt over and over again for his recent movie Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. If that's not impressive enough, Guinness says Cruise did some of the fiery jumps with a 50-pound camera rig strapped to him.
The official trailer is out for a Disney sequel more than 20 years in the making.
To reach the place where you belong.
Oh my God, what is happening?
Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis reprised their roles from 2003's Freaky Friday. In the upcoming follow-up, Freakier Friday, while the first one saw mother and daughter switch bodies, the sequel raises the stakes by seeing them and two other family members caught in the supernatural chaos. Freakier Friday hits theaters August 8th.
Break our parents up for good. Become the assassin.
And looking ahead to this weekend's box office, John Wick spin-off Ballerina will be looking to capitalize on strong preview sales to drive audiences to the cinema. It'll be facing off against last week's #1 Lilo and Stitch, which is projected to surpass $300 million US at the North American box office in its third week, and returning entries like the latest Mission Impossible and Karate Kid films.
It's a big weekend for theater fans as Broadway counts down to the 78th annual Tony Awards.
We should do this again. How's next week? How's next year?
Comedy musical adaptation Death Becomes Her snagged 10 nominations to tie for first place alongside two other musicals, Maybe Happy Ending, which is centered around the tale of two robots in love, and Buena Vista Social Club, a show telling the story of celebrated Cuban musicians. The Tony Awards ceremony takes place Sunday, hosted by Cynthia Erivo. Still to come tonight, counting down the kickoff. Toronto's champion sports team returns to the field under Friday night lights. That's just ahead.
Hey there, Toronto. I'm Teddy Wilson.
And I'm Nicole Servina, so welcome to Things to Know TO.
Welcome indeed. So each week our show shines a spotlight on some of the awesome businesses, services, initiatives, and events right here in our fantastic GTA community.
It's companies like these that make Toronto one of the world's greatest, most vibrant cities, and also a pretty great place to work, play, and live in.
Well said. So join us every Saturday on Things to Know TO.
And don't forget, you can catch all of our episodes on our website, thingstoknow.ca.
You can
like see it in the sun. It's not shining as usual, and it's very hazy and foggy and odd.
Updating our top stories, the wildfires in Western Canada may be thousands of kilometers away, but the smoke is having a major impact on air quality here in Toronto. One tracker ranked the city's air quality as 4th worst in the world today, as experts advise limiting time spent outdoors for both humans and pets.
Picking up a gun is not normal. Shooting people they don't know is not normal.
Ceremonies were held here in Toronto and across Canada today, marking the National Day Against Gun Violence. This year's event comes in the wake of a deadly mass shooting in Lawrence Heights this week. Toronto police say 7 people have been fatally shot in the city so far this year, and another 47 have been hurt, although gunfire calls are down compared to 2024.
We are aligning federal rules and regulations with those from the provinces and territories, helping to create one market, not 13.
And today, the federal Liberals tabled new legislation they say will reduce interprovincial trade barriers and accelerate approval of major projects. PM Mark Carney says Parliament will delay a summer break if needed to get the policy passed. The opposition called the plan a small step when bolder action was needed.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app.
Job numbers in both Canada and the U.S. are telling very different stories. BNN Bloomberg's Marella Fernandez has tonight's business report.
The unemployment rate moved up in May to 7%. That's the highest it's been since 2016, excluding the pandemic. The rate has been creeping up for the last 3 months. 8,800 more people found work in May, but the population also grew, and that's why the unemployment rate rose. The wholesale and retail sectors were hiring, but cuts were made in public administration and transportation. Here's how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.03. West Texas Intermediate is up over $1 today to 64.65. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it up to 53.13. And the TSX hit another record high today, up 86 points to 26,429. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
In sports, the Toronto Argonauts begin their quest to repeat as Grey Cup champions tonight. The Argos open the season in Montreal against the Alouettes. Toronto will be -7 defensive starters and quarterback Chad Kelly. He was only cleared to practice last week after suffering a broken leg in last year's division final. Nick Arbuckle gets the start this evening.
With a fly ball, shallow left field, and dropped off the glove of Turner. And it bounces towards the corner, and 2 more runs will score.
The Blue Jays are beginning a 9-game road trip after winning their series against the Philadelphia Phillies at home yesterday. Toronto's won 7 of its past 8 games. The Jays are in Minnesota tonight.
You can only flirt with fire for so long.
Meanwhile, Jose Bautista will be inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. The Blue Jays slugger was a 6-time All-Star and helped the franchise to its first playoff run in 22 years. Bautista also won 3 Silver Slugger awards during his 10 years in Toronto.
McDavid,
The Stanley Cup final resumes in Edmonton tonight, with the Oilers looking to take a 2-0 lead in their series against the Panthers. Today, the best player in the world spoke about how resilient his team is.
Well, it's a situation that we've been in a number of times now. I think we all understand that it's never over with this group. You know, we can come back in those situations. We're comfortable in those situations, as uncomfortable as it can be to be down. We got a belief that if we keep doing our thing, we can work our way back and crawl back into a game, and we did that the other night.
Connor McDavid and his teammates were on the ice today in preparation for this evening's game. The Oilers are chasing the franchise's first title since 1990 and Canada's first Stanley Cup since Montreal won in 1993. The game begins shortly after 8 o'clock our time. Still ahead tonight, a DoorDash driver takes to the tarmac with a hot meal that was likely better than airplane food in a delivery that never got off the ground. That's coming up.
Tonight, Canada's unemployment rate rises.
I've applied to probably over 100 places at this point and got 3 interviews total.
The hardest hit sectors and what's behind the worrying trend. Later on CTV National News.
And a reminder, the CTV News at 6 podcast is available as a download every weeknight. And a special What's Up to those of you listening to the newscast live on News Talk 1010.
Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
As wrong turns go, this one is a doozy.
A food delivery driver actually ended up on a runway to a restricted area at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. You can see the vehicle slowly trespassing along the tarmac before parking next to a plane. The incident did spark security concerns about how the driver accessed the area and why it reportedly took police 10 minutes to arrive. No word on whether the actual food delivery ever reached its final destination.
But they deserve a good tip. That's a really good effort.
Or the opposite.
What was the? I want to know what the order was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they risked their life to deliver that food.
Well, I'm going to need a follow-up to this story. If you're heading out this weekend, if you're getting food anywhere this weekend, just keep in mind that we're still contending with smoke, obviously, out there. So as we head through your Saturday, your Sunday, we'll see it kind of change where it is in the atmosphere. So maybe not so close to ground level thanks to a change in wind direction, but still keep in mind it could impact you if you're spending any extra time outside. Not watching for much in the way of any active weather, at least for us here in the GTA throughout the weekend. Slight chance on Sunday, but overall not too bad. Comfortable heading out tonight, and if you're going out anywhere over the next couple of days, we are at or just above seasonal, even with a little rain on the way. So overall, if you're heading out today, tomorrow, over the next 7 days, it's wonderful. I'll send it back to you guys.
Okay, thanks, Jess. Be sure to join Heather Butts tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Sean Leathong with our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and all of us here at CTV News, thank you for watching and have a good night.